African bank is facing a possible fine of 300 million rand. That's relating to fraudulent activity at one of its branches. Now, the National Credit Regulator started investigating a group of credit providers for reckless lending last year. The matter has now been referred to the Competition Tribunal. Joining me on the line for the reaction to this, ABIL CEO Leon Kirkenes. Leon, thank you very much for your time today. So we've seen comments coming through from ABIL, basically saying that they don't agree with the fine being imposed. But talk to us about your understanding of where where they proposed the reckless lending took place.
Yeah, good afternoon, Samantha. Nice to be talking to you and your listeners. Just a correction in what you said. This is going to the National Consumer Tribunal, not the Competition Tribunal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, the situation we actually discovered back in November of 2011 that there was something untoward happening in our Dundee branch, and we initiated an investigation. This then took some time because it's quite a complex scheme that was or scam that was put together. The amount involved in the end was 397 customers relating to 15.5 million rand. At the conclusion of the investigation, we found that in fact there had been corrupt payments made by consumers or most of these customers to 3 staff members. So fraud was committed against the organisation, against African Bank. Mm-hmm. We then subsequently dismissed those 3 staff members. The branch manager resigned before our internal investigation was completed. During the course of 2012, the NCR was conducting its own investigations, as you mentioned, and they came across some of these matters, and we then disclosed to them all of the matters that we had found in our investigation, and fully cooperated with them transparently and openly. And then during the course of this week, we received notification that they will be taking this matter to the tribunal. We welcome it going to the tribunal because we think that the amount that they're seeking is unwarranted and it doesn't stack up with the facts of the matter.
Yeah.
And therefore let an independent party judge the matter.
I mean, you do point out that it was just 0.01% of the total loans granted during that period at this Dundee branch. So that, of course, is a small proportion. But the fact is that reckless lending really did take place within the ABIL group. I mean, what type of action are you taking going forward to incentivize against this? What type of channels have you put in place to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Well, let me just correct you in one thing. You can't allege, or it can't be alleged that the organisation was reckless in its lending practices if there were fraudulent activities and collusion between the customers and the staff members to actually grant these loans, which would not be granted ordinarily in terms of our criteria. Mm-hmm. And our business ethos. Mm-hmm. Our internal controls did work because we picked up the matter, as I said, back in November of 2011. Obviously, we continue to strengthen the matters. When we got the confessions from the staff members involved, they showed us how they actually manipulated the system. It was a very complex way that they did it. And we built that into then that can't be done again in a new origination system that we rolled out during 2011 and finished in 2012. Obviously, that you don't need to rely on exception reports to get to the bottom of the issue, but it's built into the origination system up front.
Yeah. And lastly, Leon, I get what you're saying on that front there. Just the postponement of the $300 million 5-year bond, why is that being postponed?
Yeah, we feel that's why we came out. Once we received this notification from the NCR, we felt that this is a material enough matter that needs to be brought to the attention of all of our stakeholders and the other regulators, like the Reserve Bank and other parties. And we were in the middle of a bond roadshow. In fact, we were busy concluding the bond on yesterday when we then decided that this is a material matter and it wouldn't be appropriate to proceed with a bond at this stage until the investors had full sight of the SENS announcement. That means that we've postponed it, but we will probably, once the potential investors have digested this information next week, we will then go back and talk to them in the course of probably the week after.